Welcome back. Today we will see about the die casting process. Now let us see this thing. It's a permanent die casting process. You can see there is a force is coming from one direction. Okay. Here we have placed core so that we are going to make some halo. Here the cavity or predefined shapes is provided here. So in between the gap we are going to fill with the molten metal. Then later once process is over we are going to remove. As you can see, the metal is freely flow from this pot or ladle or etc. So there is no pressure is applied. This is non-pressure, so just like simply we can call it a permanent mold, because this mold is permanent, and permanent means not for lifelong. It with respect to the operating temperature, with respect to the molding material and the accuracy of the material and the material which is used to build this thing, everything will be calculated. Depending upon that, its lifetime will be calculated, and roughly say 600 to 1000 products we can make roughly. Okay, most of the time we are using steels to tool steels I just confused, tool steels to produce this material. Okay, sometimes if we need we can put some cooling circuits, and here some ejector pins will be available, so that once the process is completed, ejector pin and this force will be taken back, it will move here, so ejector pin will push the component. After the solidification we can take, right. Let us go to the next one. Die casting is widely used in most of the industry because automation is possible in the die casting. So if automation is possible, then output also very high, so dimension accuracy and extremely thin sheets involved product can be manufactured. So this thing is very famous, but another disadvantage is material handling limit, and the hot chamber and cold chamber castings having the material handling limitations. Okay, let me check. Right, so first one is the hot chamber die casting. What hot is available here? Thing is, we are having the molten metal over here, so that we need to make some furnace as an integral part, so it can produce heat. Okay, so molten metal is available at 24/7. On the short cylinder or plunger rod is pushed, some material from this gap intake port will rush to place here, and one is pressing over here, it will go and try to build the fill this gap mold, right. So that is due to the action of pressure. You can see some complicated shapes are available and very thin shapes are available, so this also can be accommodate, this space also can be accommodated because we are giving some pressure over here, so liquid metal will go and fill everything. Okay, so you can see the dimension, it is somewhat bigger. As you can see, somewhat lesser area, again we are going to put some casting cavity. Okay, so you see the area is reduced, pressure is increased, so within fraction of time all the molten metal will go and occupy this space. Okay, all right, and we'll go and see another die casting process. Now is a schematic diagram as we have seen in before. You can see combustion area is shown here at like nothing but a furnace, so combustion area is available. Whenever we need we can start the combustion so that it can melt the metal which is placed over here, right. This intake port, through this it will go, when pressure is going, it will seed nozzle is going to push the material or increase the velocity, right. So these are all the steps. First step, we are going to set the mold and plunger on the first portion, right. So here you can see there is a movable, as one is fixed, and the movable having the ejector pins. One, if the working is over where the motor is solidified, then we can push the ejector pins and we can take it, the finished component will be taken back, right. Second, if you see all the setup is over, we are going to give some pressure, so the liquid molten metal which occupied here, it is going and going to fill this mold. That's fine. So when the workpiece is solidified, we are going to move the moving half. This is the moving half that is moved here. You can see some velocity is applied, so it is moved, and the ejector pin will push the workpiece to throw it away. You can see there is some push and it can easily push it, and it is some of the shapes are can be manufactured over here is shown in here. right. So this is why easily we can do the automation. Another diagram for your better understanding I taken from the website. I prefer personally I am thank the website, those who are providing this diagram. As you can see, hydraulic cylinder is available. Whenever the workpiece is finished, just push it here, so molten metal will go through the gooseneck and it is go to the secondary and primary. This is movable, this is fixed. So in between we are having the pattern, so whenever you need clamping board, it will come and touch and the gap will be filled by the molten metal. Work is over, it will go to back, and you can see some ejector system is available, 1 2 3 something, correct? It is very very easy. Okay, so what type of material we can use? Can we use all the material? No, we are having inbuilt furnace, so low melting point materials we can use, and some of these shapes we can be produced. You can see most of the things more are like axis symmetry component, some turbine blades and casing of various materials. And what are those materials? Okay, low melting materials you can easily identify the zinc and lead, tin, etc. These things only we can handle. Okay, this is the small disadvantage of this process. So in order to overcome that, we having a cold chamber die casting process. As you can see, we are taking the molten metal from the external ladle, so there is no furnace arrangement is available, we need to put it separately. So and we are taking the ladle, we are going to put the molten metal over here. After that, this plunger will push the material into the mold. Remaining setup, everything is same, only difference is this, right? So what about the material handling capacity? Here also we can make a lot and lot of things like a casing of induction motor, IC engine parts, you can see gearbox and other things, but the material is aluminum brass we can use, right? This also low melting materials, but compared to previous one, this is having higher melting point, right? So here we have to go for one important things. In normal sand casting process, we can use some material. It is initially it will fill the shape which we made the through the casting molding process. Then after that, if excess material is available, it can be easily come out this side through the riser we can see. So material quantity we can take somewhat extra, no problem. But here you can see, if excess material is you can consume, where it will go and occupy, that's a question. So you should go for precise calculations. Second, if extra material is available, it will be shown as extra projection, that's not a matter. We can go for secondary machining process, like we can go. But see about here, it's fully manual, here it's fully automatic. We need is sand and other binders, etc. And we need some boxes and other things. Sometimes it may lead to mismatch, but here it is never going mismatch. It's a fully automatic and permanent mold die we are using, so nothing to worry. So best thing is this one. But the material, you can handle any material, any complicated shape here we can take. But here thin and complicated shapes you can use, and materials are very very restricted. Okay, so thanks for watching.